What's up? It's Marcus. I know you can't really see me right now. I'm driving down the road, but you can hear me. And I keep hearing these people. I just had a discussion with somebody that's like they don't vote, they don't have nothing to do with politics because no matter who the president they vote for, it don't affect them in any way. And I'm just like, do you go to the grocery store? Do you buy groceries? Do you not see how high the groceries are? You know, So it is affecting you. You notice you can't go to McDonald's and get a combo for under $10 anymore. It affects you. It affects everybody. And everybody's like, well, my vote don't count. But if you start adding up all those people's vote don't count, eventually the wrong person's going to get in office, and then you're really going to notice that didn't vote for this person or that person. Now this person's in office. Now you really notice the effect on your life, when all your freedoms are starting to be taken away, when you're starting to have to pay high taxes, and you don't really know why. This is why it's important to keep up with politics, it's why it's important to vote. I voted when I was 18 years old. I turned 18 the year Trump was, not Trump, I'm sorry, but Bush was voted in the first time, and I voted for Bush. It was a moral thing. Actually, it was Bush's second term that I voted him in. I'm sorry, Bush's second term, because I was in ninth grade during 9/11. So it was his second term, and I felt that we shouldn't swap up presidents right now. That Bush had said that America's going to take this stance. We're standing behind Bush and all that. And I think that to swap presidents during that time would have just showed weakness, and it could have backtracked on any kind of progress that we had. Looking back in hindsight now, knowing that we went to Iraq just for the oil and there were no weapons of mass destruction, I see it was a huge, colossal mistake. But at the time, we were being fed lies, and social media wasn't as prevalent as it is now, where you could go in there and do all the research yourself. So yeah, mainstream media was selling us lies, and so were the government, telling us, Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, which they didn't. I'll say this about Saddam. He was an evil SOB, man, and I'm not going to justify him in any way, shape, or form. No way do I condone any of his actions or anything like that. But one thing Saddam did do was he kept peace in the region. Granted, the Ba'ath Party, which he was a part of, was evil, and they would beat people and stuff, but it was only one evil. Once Saddam was taken out of there, the whole region destabilized, and then you had the whole country being tormented by all these extremists pouring in, like Al Qaeda and ISIS and all that, and they completely destabilized the country. Then everybody is affected. It just ruined that country. Us invading Iraq ruined that country. Not to say that country was perfect, but America's involvement in Iraq was a mistake. I'll say it was. It was a huge mistake. It's like Eisenhower said, and I stand firm on this, beware of the military-industrial complex. I think that's who runs our world. The military-industrial complex. Right now, we're funding a war with Ukraine. Why? Why are we funding Ukraine? Why are we their biggest supporters, slapping them on the back, all this? Why? I'll tell you why. Because the CIA goes out and finds or creates a war or whatever, and the military-industrial complex arms them. Do you know how much money Boeing, Lockheed, and Lockheed Martin and Boeing and all them people that make all these weapons, these missiles and things, they're getting stinking rich, and off your tax dollars, Why should our tax dollars go to pay these big American companies all our tax dollars just for them to take these weapons and sell them to, Ukraine? And when I say sell them, I mean Ukraine borrowing the money from us to pay for the weapons. All those billions of dollars going to Ukraine, I'm telling you, all that is them getting the weapons. But that money comes right straight into all these big defense contractors, all their pockets. That's what it is. And that's the whole reason we're involved in that war. Because it is making people rich. The military-industrial complex, you don't mess with them. Them and the CIA, they go hand in hand. And if you ask my opinion, I honestly believe that's what's behind the JFK assassination. You know, he was kind of onto it. He was, he said he wanted to splinter, the CIA to the wind, get rid of them. And I think that's what, that pissed him off. They took him out. I think that they did like they were going to try to do Castro, where they hired the mafia, and the mafia did it. That's my opinion. I know it might sound like a crazy conspiracy and all that, but I'm not really that. I like conspiracy theories. They're interesting, but I'm not saying I believe in them. Like, I don't believe there's any kind of thing with Charlie Kirk, or maybe with the FBI and the lies they're telling with the transgender crap. But as far as like his head of security and all that, no, I don't believe in any kind of conspiracy with that. But anyways, getting back to it, the military-industrial complex is evil, and people don't even go. It's called the black budget, so they don't have to show how much money is going to this, and I mean, it could be all this money that the U.S. is in debt is going back to these billionaires in our own company. So I mean, these billionaires live in America, and yet they're dragging down the debt in our country just to line their own pockets. It's just so wrong and evil. To me, that ought to be treason. I don't know. What do you guys think? Y'all think that these billionaires have the right to do what they do? I don't know. I just always was told that, the military-industrial complex is just evil, and they're the ones that not fund the war, but supply all these. They're just legal arms dealers, pretty much. And, the CIA, goes out there and finds these wars and stokes them and things, and then helps drag us into them so that we can fund these wars. And these people get rich, and that's how it is. It's just evil. There needs to be some house cleaning. Get rid of all this crap. That's what they mean by drain the swamp. They keep saying drain the swamp, drain the swamp. I've heard that for the last 10, 15, 20 years, but yet all I see is the swamp getting deeper. I don't see any draining of the swamp. Anyways, guys, this rant's gone on long enough, but what do you guys think? Leave it in the comments, like and subscribe. I hope y'all have a good Thanksgiving tomorrow. God bless all y'all and all y'all's families. I hope it's all just wonderful, as well as I hope mine. But I'll try to get on here live tomorrow maybe, but if y'all made it this far, thank you guys. Please like and subscribe. If you're already subscribed, I love you guys, and see y'all around.